Today's edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox is brought to you by Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market.
Hold the mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim flam sauce with the awesome fave with shafafa on the.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. A little bit late, but not a dollar short. In fact, we've got plenty of dollars flowing. It is a gorgeous Thursday. We are at Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale, right on Federal Highway, just across from Holy Cross Hospital. We've got Mike Lubie and resplendent in what looks like a new spring wardrobe shirt. Jeff Defo DeForest, I really like that shirt.
I love that shirt.
Looks like I just came off a cruise ship, doesn't it?
That's
At the last minute, I knew I didn't have anything clean, so I bought something in a gift shop.
Golf course, cruise ship.
Yeah.
Maybe
I have to say, I was given this as a gift. Somebody stayed at our house for about a week. A friend of ours was going through some trouble, and so she came down from North Carolina. She came down from North Carolina, stayed for a week. And she sent me this shirt as a gift. And I tell you, the material is ideal for this South Florida torturous heat, humidity, because I'm a big sweater.
Can I feel it? Can I touch
yeah,
it?
no,
Oh, yeah, it's
very
nice.
good,
Like a dry fit thing, kind of similar.
Very nice. So, yeah, I've been wearing it for the last 3 days.
Well, it's good. I like the change in wardrobes. Usually I go shopping twice a year, in the spring and the fall. But you see, today I've got my Panthers playoff shirt on, and that is in celebration of a triumphant start to their defense of the Stanley Cup last night in Tampa. What did you think of that Panthers performance, Jeff Defo DeForest?
I mean, it's great. Look, Kachuk comes back after. What I love though is I love the subplots in these Stanley Cup playoff series. Apparently, this guy on Tampa Bay, Hagel, who was in the Four Nations thing.
They went at it. Yeah.
No, go ahead. Yeah, you can finish the story.
No. You. I'm sorry. I just.
No. It's okay. It's all right. Good. What happened?
You were mentioning the fact that there is a bitter enmity between the two of them. They have gone back, I guess, to previous NHL games, and then they were in that Four Nations competition earlier this year, where they got into it and they dropped the gloves like 10 seconds into the game, and then they also were going at it last night. So they are scrappy. Kachuk looked a little bit rusty in the first period, and I know you had some thoughts on the whole, I guess, the opening, and then they just really kind of found their groove in the second period.
Yeah, they started slow offensively. I mean, it was like 10 shots to 5 shots, but they found a way by the end of the first period to be up 2-1, and they never looked back. Their defense was fantastic. And Bobrovsky, as we've seen, look, if he's playing behind a strong defense, he's one of the best goalies in the world, and he was really good. Their offense only put up 16 shots, but it was really smart the way they played offense. They controlled the puck with that forecheck that we heard so much about the last 2 years, and their defense was fantastic. And it was nice to see a nice easy win in Tampa, which is they've had so much issues with.
You didn't think it was going to be easy going on the road against the rivalry team, and it was shocking. Like, look, the Tampa tied it up toward the end of the first period, and then the fact that they got a go-ahead goal in the final minute of the first period, that's kind of soul-crushing for the home team.
Yep.
And those first 2 goals, I know Vasilevsky gave up a lot of goals in that second period, but those 2 first goals on these deflections, they were unstoppable. I mean, those are just great tip-ins. Those are great plays made by a team that has some great players, and they are really just built for these moments. And you never know how a cup defense, a title defense is going to go. But from what we saw last night, I know it's only limited results, but it looks like they're going to go far again. So we shall see. Meanwhile, on the opposite end of the coin, Heat, Cavaliers, game 2 tonight. Anybody have any thoughts or predictions?
I'm maybe the homer in me. Maybe I'm looking at the Memphis Thunder, the Grizzlies Thunder series, and seeing that the Heat Cavs game was nothing like that. The fact that the Heat were in it until like the 6-minute mark of the fourth quarter. I feel like the Heat could still win tonight. And they'll get. Well, I see this being a 5 or 6 game series and the Cavs winning it, but something about the Heat with the playoff experience they had with Spo, the Cavs didn't come out and punch him in the mouth. It took them to the last few minutes for them to separate. I don't know. I have a weird feeling that he may win tonight.
Interesting. Do you share any of those sentiments?
I don't see them winning tonight, Louis. I think you're dreaming. Spread's 12 points. Most people are saying go ahead and lay them. Look. I think the Heat got to where, I mean, as good a point as they possibly could this year. They didn't really have the goods to begin with, even with Jimmy Butler. They had all this turmoil, all this drama. It didn't end well, and they came back. Then they got smacked with a 10-game losing streak. Sort of redeemed themselves a little bit, but getting out of the play-in tournament, I thought was an accomplishment. And unfortunately, they were faced with the number 1 seed, and they weren't going to get by either Cleveland or Boston. They might have been competitive against some other teams, but I don't see them winning tonight. 5-game series. Cleveland gets high on South Beach and loses game 4 and goes back, clinches in Cleveland. That's where I see it.
Okay, one letdown game. Yeah, I think you're being overly generous, Lubie. That is the homer.
Lubie normally pessimistic, though.
No, but the Heat homer in him is saying, "Oh, maybe they'll scratch out 2
Pull
wins."
something to get. Yeah.
I don't see it. I'm sorry. And you know me, I watch basketball during the regular season just like a hawk religiously. No, I don't watch any of this stuff but I do watch playoffs. I love, and that's why we talk more sports during the playoffs, because it's meaningful. Every one of these games means something. And look, I'll watch the Heat tonight. I don't expect much. If I had to bet on it, I would lay the points with Cleveland, and we'll see. Maybe they can pull out a stunner, but like Defo, I actually agree with you. I think the best shot will be winning a home game, maybe even game 4. Cleveland might go up 3-0, and most of my friends also.
Well, that's what
think
Devo's saying is they'll be up
3-0.
3-0. They'll go party. They'll say do like the Heat used to do with the big 3, where they wouldn't really sweep teams. They would win in 5, and that's probably where the money is. I don't know. I'm there's nothing to say that the Heat can't lose both at home. I just have a weird feeling about with Spo and
Heat pride. They don't want to get swept.
Yeah, no, they're not going to get swept. Do they win game 2, game 3, or game 4? Like, that's sort of where I'm at.
And the thing is, this is a league, the NBA, of superstars.
Oh,
and in order to contend for a title, let alone win one, you need to have superstars on your team.
Yep.
Not just one. Usually you need 2, and then sometimes that third wheel. And does this team have any superstar? No.
No, they have 2 all-star players, and the Cavs have 3 all-star players, and they have 1 legit superstar.
So hence you have a 10 seed getting their way in on a play-in, and that's about it. Like you said, you got to take a moral victory out of that and hope that Riley and Spo work some offseason magic to revive something and get a superstar in here. Although I'm going to ask you this because you seem to know, and you talked to Ethan Skolnick. You guys are following. Like, has now the atmosphere, is there a taint around the Heat in terms of players don't want to come here? It used to be they wanted to come here, but now after what happened with, first to a degree, LeBron didn't stay, and Jimmy wanted out in the worst way.
I know people like the professor talks about that a lot. He, as much as we love Riley, he doesn't hate Riley, but he's a lot more realistic about what Riley is. I don't know. I don't know if it's that simple to say, oh, well, he screwed up with LeBron and the cookies, and Jimmy Butler wanted to get paid for 10 years ago, so no one wants to go to the Heat. I don't know if it's that simple. I mean, a lot of the players they've gone after have been through trades, and the Heat never have draft picks. And all these, like when the Cavs got Mitchell, they had a slew of draft picks. When the Knicks went and got some of the players they've gotten, they had draft picks. Like the Heat never have draft picks. So when it comes to trades, the Heat don't have that much. And then when it comes to free agency, they always have stars. So you can't go and sign a free agent if you have all these max deals. So I look, Miami is still a place most players have a home already. The Heat are known to be a winning franchise. This was a disastrous year. They still got into the playoffs, first 10 seed ever. Like, culture, as much as we make fun of it, is a real thing with the Heat. And if you want to win, the Heat with Spoelstra is a place that people still know they can go. So we'll see what happens this offseason. This is going to be a very telling offseason because Riley's getting near the end, and the Heat have a very interesting group of players. They don't have a star, and they need a star desperately.
Yeah, and we'll see if Riley. He's how old now?
80
something. And we all thought he'd be off traveling those beaches that he always
thought,
talked
yeah.
about going around the world and
He's
just
80.
kicking back. He's 80. All right. So, look, this will be a telling off season. You're right. I mean, I would think that this market and the heat still has 3 pretty attractive things going for it. Number 1, South Beach. Number 2, good weather year round.
No state taxes.
And number 3, no income
Yeah, they
taxes,
love
no
that.
state income taxes, no
Players love
local
it.
city. You know, when you're making 50, 60 million a year, that adds up to some nice change in savings. Yeah. All right. Well, again, this concludes our sports talk for the day because look, this time of year, you know, we do love to talk sports. We like to watch sports when it's meaningful. And Jim Sarney will fill us in on the rest of what's going on in women's volleyball and even the Marlins. How about those Marlins, Defo?
Surprise team of the year so far.
I mean, what was their over-under as far as like win total for the season?
That'd be in the 60s.
Oh, wow.
I think it was 63.
So people thought they were going to lose like 99 or 100
Yeah.
games, and now
It
they're
wasn't a
on
stretch.
they are on track to basically win 75 to 80 games, which
Yeah.
would be shocking for a team that everybody compared to a AAA roster. Meanwhile, I haven't even talked about, you know, the sports angle here. We are at Wicked Cheesesteaks. Brian and Sonata are manning the fort. They have a new summer schedule. They're closed now Mondays and Tuesdays, open 5 days a week, Wednesday through Sunday. So there's this pent-up demand on Wednesdays when they open. People are streaming in for their cheesesteaks and their wings. We got the beautiful, what do we got? The teriyaki
honey
wings?
sticky wings. Honey sticky garlic wings.
And do you know which international superstar is a fan of these wings, Jeff Defo DeForest?
I'm guessing. Who would it be?
Well, I don't know. Are we allowed to say it? It's like one
We
of those
talked about Messi.
open secrets where
No, we've
a
talked about
certain
Messi. Brian's talked about it.
What is it? Miami, whatever they call it. Inter Miami
CF,
football.
I think they
Yeah,
are.
football FC football club.
But they're backwards. No, it's CF.
CF Club Football.
Club of Football.
Because
yeah.
we're in Miami, even though they
Yes,
play in
the
Fort Lauderdale for
Spanish,
now,
yeah.
and he lives close by. And Messi is known to kind of bring his powder blue Bentley, I believe, and he loves the wings for his family. He picks them up. So you never know if you come here to Wicked Cheesesteaks at 4824 North Federal Highway, right in the heart of Fort Lauderdale, Commercial Boulevard and Federal Highway. You never know who you're going to run into here. You might run into us, especially when we're broadcasting, or sometimes I do come by here and pick up a chicken Philly cheesesteak is my usual order these days. And Brian Sonata do a great job. Of course, she cooks all the pies and desserts. And you know what? How much I love her key lime pie.
Now more
she's
than
still
ever.
not talking to me. I love her chocolate peanut butter pie. That is like
She does it. They do a great job with their baked goods. Look, all their dishes here, and I know there's other places that moved around, and they are sandwich places or subs, whatever you call them. Why I like Wicked is they're not just a hoagie place. They're not just a pizza place. They're not just a place to get wings. They're a place to get all of it. And they do a really good job. And they're a mom and pop place, and they care, and their prices are always competitive, which you can't say for everyone, especially right now. And we haven't been here in a while, and I'm really excited and happy to be here.
Yeah, it's been a few months. It's always good to get back in here. And, you know, they call it Wicked Cheesesteaks because Brian is originally from the, Maine and New England area. And, of course, wicked is the expression for something being wicked good, wicked smart. And so he also has some New England items that appear on the menu sometimes during the summertime, like lobster rolls. I don't know. Lobster prices have been going insanely crazy.
I was scared to even bring it up.
I've heard they're coming back down. So I think for now, he does not have the lobster rolls in stock because it would have to be priced so exorbitantly. Nobody wants to pay $30 or $35 for a lobster roll. And the wholesale prices were crazy. However, this is good news that I mentioned the other day.
Yeah, I love it.
Somehow our friends at Tropical Acres, Jack Studiali, I talked to him the other day, they were able to get their usual supplier to hook them up early with their usual 1 to 1 1/4 pound chick lobsters, they're called.
Nice.
And they were able to get them at a reasonable rates, lower than what I've heard they're going for elsewhere, so that they're able to bring back their twin lobster special early. Usually it happens the Monday after Mother's Day. This year they said, let's do it right after Easter.
Nice.
And so this week, if you go into Tropical Acres today, you will be able to get the twin lobster special, and they kept it at the same price as last year.
Everyone's struggling to get lobster. So Jack's like, we're not only going to do the special, we're going to do it early. just to take advantage of the opening in the market.
Yeah, and the $39 gets you a twin lobster, 2 of those chick lobsters, along with a salad and a side dish. That's plenty of food for me. I
Oh,
can't
yeah.
eat more than one of them these days.
Yep.
So you come in with a date, your better half. You have 2 lobsters, you split them, and then get a little piece of the prime rib or the filet mignon. You got yourself a great, unbelievably good value surf and turf meal. That's at Tropical Acres, 2500 Griffin Road. And don't forget, Mother's Day, they will be open on Sunday. They're open usually 6 days a week. They're usually closed Sundays, but they open on Mother's Day, May 11th, and they're going to be open on Father's Day as well. Make your reservations now. Call them at 954-989-2500. Don't forget that twin lobster special for $39. It's available Monday through Friday while supplies last. So you want to get there early because they don't have an endless supply. They do get shipments in every day, every other day from their sources that I can't reveal because they still get those great prices. Go to Tropical Acres and tell them the Lunchbox sent you. All right, let's take our first break. And then I'm going to dive into some wings and maybe we'll get some cheesesteaks out here after these words on the Lunchbox. Southern comfort food from a scratch kitchen, delicious drinks and house-made spirits from a craft bar, a great vibe inside and out with a spacious patio. I'm talking about Batch New Southern Kitchen and Tap, Fort Lauderdale, in the heart of the city at 525 North Federal Highway. It's open 7 days for lunch, dinner, and weekend brunch with classics like fried chicken and waffles and shrimp and grits, and creative items like pecan-crusted salmon and a fried green tomato BLT. And the drinks? Smooth sipping and so good. There's convenient free parking and a garage next door, happy hour at the bar, an entire patio, 4 to 7 Monday to Friday, and live music every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It's pet and people friendly and with cozy fire pits for when the temperature dips. For reservations and more information, go to batchsouthernkitchen.com. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, and also now with a new location on Las Olas Boulevard. Those are my spots. Upscale food and a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. If you want great Italian food in a beautiful beachfront setting, have I got the place for you. Casa Calabria at the Ocean Manor Resort, 4040 Galt Ocean Drive in Fort Lauderdale. Highly rated across all the restaurant review platforms and totally Mike Mayo's Lunchbox approved. Delicious, authentic Southern Italian food in a cozy dining room overlooking the Atlantic. Live music in the lounge, full bar, and a great wine list. Owner Frank Talrico takes great pride in his family recipes from his native Calabria. Fresh fish and seafood, veal, house-made pastas, and marinara sauces smooth as silk. You gotta try the imported meats and cheeses on the antipasto platters, and don't miss that ricotta gnocchi, fluffy little pillows straight from heaven. Casa Calabria, open for dinner Tuesday through Sunday, closed on Monday. For the finest poultry and the freshest fish, Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market, located at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, open 7 days. Since 1951, a South Florida tradition for stone crab in season, Thanksgiving turkeys, holiday feasts, and everyday eating. Great steaks, house-made sausage, and prepared foods, too. Delaware is not just a market, it's a celebration of taste, quality, and old-fashioned customer service with a smile. Sign up for their weekly email flyer at DelawareChicken.com and tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a great bagel with lox, matzo ball soup, deli sandwich, and rugelach, you know where I go? Grandpa's Restaurant in Dania Beach. It's a South Florida institution since 1957 that was revamped a few years back by a pair of New York bagel baking legends. Full deli and appetizing case with spreads, salads, and platters for takeout and catering. Grandpa's is near Federal Highway just north of Sterling Road, open 7 days for breakfast and lunch. Go eat and enjoy. It's Mike Mayo's Lunchbox approved. For the finest and authentic Greek cuisine, Taverna Kima is the place to go. 6298 North Federal Highway in Boca Raton. It's been around for nearly 2 decades. Every day is a feast with grilled lamb and fish, house-made spinach pie and moussaka, gyros, traditional dips, mezes, with soft, warm pita. It's open 7 days for lunch and dinner with happy hour daily from 3 to 6 p.m., indoor, outdoor, private dining. So celebrate life at Taverna Kima. For reservations and information, go to tavernakima.com. When I get a craving for real Southern barbecue, Fat Boys Barbecue is the place that I call home. Cooked low and slow with proper smoke and dry rub goodness, Fat Boys has some of the best ribs, brisket, burnt ends, pulled pork, and chicken around. 5 delectable sauces and the tastiest collard greens, candied yams, and cornbread this side of heaven. 4 locations, including Deerfield, Coral Springs, Cypress Creek Road, and their newest location in downtown Fort Lauderdale, 706 South Federal Highway. Open 7 days with great lunch specials, online ordering, delivery, catering, and food trucks for your next event. To order, go to fatboysbarbecue.com today. That's Fat Boys with a All right, we're back on the Lunchbox, a late lunch edition from Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. Brian just brought out some of the great fare here. You've got a classic cheesesteak. That's the shaved ribeye with some Cooper white American cheese and onions, and I don't know what else is in there. I've got the chicken Philly because I'm trying to go on the lighter side with some onions and regular green peppers, and he just brought out the good hot stuff. I am enjoying it. You know what? I got a good workout in this morning. I went to the gym. It feels like I'm high on life, like somebody put a Molly in my coffee or
There you
something like that. It's
Nice.
And you know what? When you feel good, you tend to run good. I don't know if you've found that to be the case in life, Jeff D. for the Forest. I forgot. I put in some bets at Keeneland because I love the Keeneland spring meet, and they run Wednesday through Sunday. And I liked this Kenny McPeak horse in the first race, and I did like a $5 double wheel. McPeak's horse won. Another horse then completed the double. I turned basically $25 into $187.
Nice. Okay.
And I totally forgot I was on the air during the first 2 races at
There you go.
Keeneland. So even when I'm not paying attention, sometimes isn't that the case where you don't even watch the race? That's when you do better.
Half the time.
It's one of those mysteries of life that when you root too hard. We got the Kentucky Derby is coming up in just a couple of weeks.
Defo talked with the great Pete Aiello about it.
What was his opinions on it? That's of course Racetrack Pete, the race caller at Gulfstream Park. Yeah.
He liked the long shot, but and you'll excuse me, I'm sort of distracted here because I got a line to get an interview with Jason Worth.
Oh, nice.
Who was featured prominently in this new Netflix docu-series on racing, which is outstanding. And, of course, he owned Dornoch. It was his first racehorse he had a piece of, who won the Belmont Stakes last year and keyed a huge pick 5 for my buddy and me. So I'm been instructed to get a hold of him like right now. So you might see me texting here during the show.
Well, if you want to text or if you have to duck out, this is
don't need to duck out.
Okay.
I can just sit here and watch you guys eat. It's
okay.
all good.
No, it's all good. And, that's that show that's streaming on Netflix now, which is what? Chase for the Crown?
I saw it pop up. Like they're actually like pushing it, which is
It's
cool.
really well done.
Okay.
Unbelievably well done.
It is next on my list. I did get through, as I mentioned, Conclave, which is now raced to the top of all the streaming charts because it's about how a pope gets elected. It's a fictional account, but there are certain resemblances to certain characters. And now that we're going to be picking a new pope in the next 3 weeks, I guess they assemble all the cardinals from around the world. And I don't know, there are odds on who's the next pope. I imagine some of the sports books will have that. And do you go with somebody? The interesting
There's
pick,
one my wife's rooting for that leans more like Papa Francesco, as the Hispanics called him, who's more open-minded, more progressive. But then there's also 1 or 2 that are more conservative leaning. So I'm curious which way they go after having
a
liberal, guy that was very open-minded. Look, he was more in the teachings of Jesus, which is what you would think they're trying to do.
He was a
there.
Jesuit, yeah, and he came from Latin America, and he came from that whole background of where you actually, you care about the poor and you cater to the poor, and that's basically the teachings of Christ. How do we go from sports to religion? I don't know, but I love that's what the Lunchbox is all about. Just no politics.
Yeah, right.
But no, the movie Conclave was interesting because it kind of touched on how these factions in the different points of view in the Catholic Church, the more, I guess, what you call the progressive wing versus the strict doctrinaire conservatives. And there's a lot of strings being pulled right now and politicking and things that are going on behind the scenes. I guess maybe decorum says you wait until after the Pope's funeral this Saturday, and then there will be some politicking. The most intriguing name, which I've seen, and it's kind of an interesting thing, because there hasn't been an Italian-born Pope in a long time.
Okay.
I think since the 70s. Pope Paul, I think, before even John Paul was from Cardinal, he was from Poland. And then we had one from Germany, and now, of course, from Pope Francis from Argentina. And then people saying, will there be the first Asian or African Pope?
So I think that would be cool, but who knows in this political climate if they're willing to push the envelope.
See, as a Jew, I'm calling for the first Jewish Pope, but I guess they're disqualified.
That's allowed.
I don't think that's allowed.
Well, you could have had a convert, I guess.
It actually could be anybody who is baptized. I didn't realize this until I was reading that you don't even have to be a cardinal or a priest. Just any baptized male. And notice male, because they're not too happy.
We haven't gone to women yet.
Yeah, the female leadership there, but it's going to be intriguing. But this one guy who is Italian born, but he is now actually like the Cardinal of Jerusalem, which is like a kind of a very fraught place where you have three religions intersecting. But it's a perfect food name. I think his name is like Pizza Bella or something.
Oh,
like
that's
that.
the one my wife loves.
Okay.
That's the one Shirley is like all about.
So
She loves that guy.
Italian born, but he's Jerusalem based, and apparently he is a little bit more progressive. So I don't know. It'll be intriguing. You got any odds or money on the next Pope?
Not really that concerned about it, to be honest with you. I kind of like this guy a little bit. This Pope Francis seemed to have at least a slight lean towards being, getting the world back on track to being more normal. But and he had broken with a lot of the ranks there, and people were upset with him. But I thought in the interviews I'd seen with him that he came across pretty well for a guy. I'm not an organized religion guy, so I don't really put much faith in that, or stock. I guess that would be the wrong word. But I thought he acquitted himself pretty well as these popes go.
He seemed like
you know what amazed me though? I was at the Vatican when I took the tour. I'm sure you guys have done this, but. They had the embalming fluid they have in Italy must be outstanding. I would like to just mix some of that with mint leaves and smoke it, because they had a guy buried from like the 1500s, and he looked great.
Perfect skin. I don't think it's formaldehyde. I think it's
whatever they had in this guy's system. He looked like he was
mixture
just
of like that olive oil and that really good balsamic vinegar from Modena. The Italians, leave it to the Italians.
This guy was well preserved for a guy that's 500 years to his grave.
We don't mean to be
it's like Ted Williams.
Or
He's like Ted Williams. He's waiting to come back.
You're not expecting a guy to look that good embalmed.
I tell you,
from 1512.
You know who looked really good for a dead guy? Because I've never been to the Vatican or Vatican City because I was afraid that everything would just crumble beneath me if I went into the
it's
city.
actually
a little trip. Yeah.
But it's amazing. The art there is nuts. The art there's
key,
nuts.
Yeah.
Like it's insane the stuff they have there.
But I have been to Moscow back when it was still the Soviet Union, and back in those days, they had Lenin's tomb right in front of the Kremlin, and it was open for viewing to the public. And they had him embalmed in this like glass casket. You go in and you see this, this pickled socialist, pickled communist. He was full. Yeah, Lenin was full blown communist.
But
this guy looked like he just checked out.
But he looked perfect.
Yeah,
and so they have. I think they use vodka instead of the olive oil.
Whatever they're drumming these guys with. I want some. I really
exactly.
do.
I need it now.
Fountain of youth. Oh man. Hey, so speaking of matzo balls. We're not speaking of matzo balls, but now I am because
the contest.
Sun Sentinel is running their latest best of series. They're doing all these different food items. They've been doing it throughout the last year, and they've gotten up to matzo ball soup, and they did it in conjunction with Passover. And of course, there's a lot of, people who love their matzo ball soups, not just members of the tribe, but everybody, loves their good chicken soup with matzo balls and noodles and carrots and chicken. And today is the last day to get your nominees in, and then they're going to have 5 finalists. And then of those 5 finalists, they'll have 2 separate awards. One People's Choice, and then we're going to do it again right
Oh,
here.
they
on
will
the
allow the
Lunchbox.
judges to have like their own. Okay, that's cool.
But yeah, there's going to be 2 awards, one People's Choice Award and one the Judges Award, which will be based off a blind tasting that we're going to do right here on the Lunchbox show
Nice.
in May 6th, I think is the date. I don't know if I'm going to be allowed to be a judge or not because it depends on who's in the finals. And if one of our great sponsors, and that would be Grandpa's in Dania Beach, which I think has a tremendous matzo ball soup loaded with chicken chunks. And, this, I guess 2 schools of thought, not just with the matzo balls being sinkers or floaters, but also, do you want a loaded soup with lots of stuff and noodles, or do you want like more of a minimalist soup where it's just the broth and the matzo balls? Do you have any opinions?
I want to load it up. I really do. I like a lot of noodles. I like carrots. I like celery. I like onions. And then matzo ball, they can just put one giant one in there.
Right.
And that's good enough for me because I don't really believe that matzo balls. I mean, you talk about the stone crab being overrated. What is more overrated than you had this tofu the other day at Juan's, which Lubie, I can't believe this. I mean, speaking of leftovers, how did you get that to me today? I got that mapu tofu
it's right on the side,
which is great.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's right up there. The matzo ball and tofu, it's Jewish tofu. That's what it is.
It's flavorless.
You finally figured it out, Mayo. It's Jewish tofu.
It sort of is. It's like it's the filler in the chicken soup.
You could say, I mean, I don't know if we can coin this phrase here on Let's Eat South Florida. It's Jufu, is what it is.
Jufu, there you go.
That's a good one.
Jufu soup.
Right, because like tofu, which is pretty tasteless, it's what you
The
surround it
matzo
with.
ball is basically tasteless.
Yes.
It has
really
a little
is.
bit of taste, not a lot.
Now,
But it's the soup, really. Okay, now let me ask you, because I've noticed when you go out, you get chicken soup. When my family does matzo ball soup, they have the carrots, they have celery, they have onions. They'll do something we call flanken, which is a beef that's ridiculously expensive now. So my mom's very judicious with the flanken. But they cook it with chicken, but they never have the chicken in it.
no,
So I'm always curious about like who does and doesn't do
one
chicken.
of my favorite dishes is called chicken in the pot, where it's like a meal it's like kind of a matzo ball soup on steroids, where you have the whole chicken with bones and pieces and everything in the skin. That's
the cacciatore.
It's in the broth, in the soup. They sell it at Grandpa's. Sometimes he makes whole big batches of it. Mark Fried loves that stuff. He actually brings it home and has it for dinner himself.
Yeah.
Chicken in the pot is kind of the style that I grew up with and I like, where you've got the chicken and the bones and everything. It really gets all the flavor in there. Obviously, your broth should be made from
chicken.
Whole chickens, where you get that great flavor and you get the schmaltz. That's how you know if something is a commercial broth. If you put it in the fridge at home and it doesn't turn into like gelatin, that means it's just thin and has no fat and it's commercial.
Exactly.
If you put it in the fridge and it turns to like the jelly that you see in the gefilte fish jar, that's like pure fat. That's the schmaltz.
Yeah.
And our friend Danny Surfer, who's going to serve as one of the judges in the blind tasting,
I love it.
blue collar mignonette chef, proprietor, restaurateur in Miami, but nice Jewish boy, and he only makes matzo ball soup for his Passover takeout menu, but he's going to prepare some matzo ball soup for the other judges to just kind of give a sense of what like the real deal
Jewish
is, and we'll see what the other 5 finalists are. I'm intrigued. I've been going around and tasting various matzo ball soups, even though I'm not going to be a judge. I'm just going to be kind of the Ryan Seacrest
you're
of the
going to be eating
proceedings,
involved, but not judging. Yeah.
But it's interesting because you say a matzo ball has no flavor. I actually found one where the matzo ball had flavor and the soup around it didn't, which was weird because to me, this competition is going to be about the whole package, the soup, what's in it, what's the flavor of the soup, what kind of noodles do you use, what are the vegetables, are there big chunks of chicken? Grandpa's uses big chunks of chicken.
I'm not against the chunks of chicken. I just grew up without the chicken in it, and I always find it interesting who uses chicken and who doesn't.
Right. And most of the matzo balls I've had are pretty flavorless.
They don't have taste.
What do we call it?
Jufu.
Jufu. I love
my grandmother used to make the chicken soup with the chicken thing, and it was falling off the bone, and you had to pick the bones out of there. And I have to say, it was Maybe the best. I mean, grandma's chicken soup is always the
Nobody-
best. Like, you're talking about grandpa's, but
Yep.
they do it in the tradition of your
Grandma's.
grandmother. At
Bubble.
least mine, anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my
yep.
both of my grandmothers used to make matzo ball soup, and the one who lived longer, I remember hers, and she would put seltzer in it to get them fluffier
For the
with the
meat
whole
matzo,
matzo meal mix and all that stuff. But okay, so I'm going to reveal the one that
You ever
I
play
had.
stickball with one?
No, I played instead of using the Spalding balls on stoop ball. I've played
With the
sometimes with the
matzo
matzo
balls.
balls.
Splatter a matzo ball on a
Leftover.
curb. Yeah, exactly.
Top Hat Deli, which is the deli in downtown Fort Lauderdale that's owned by Elliot Wolf and the Be Nice restaurant
Yeah, I
group.
think we were there.
It was a very first of all, it's like $11 or $12, but it's like it eats like a meal. Their matzo ball soup, can't just get a cup for like $6. It's $12.
Okay.
Couple of things in its favor is it has like house made noodles. You know how when you like made your own pasta or you make your own
Yeah.
So the noodles in it are house made. The broth itself was a little bit, I'd say, mild, and it didn't have big chunks of the chicken. It had some of the carrots and the celery, but the matzo ball itself was enhanced with so many different herbs and stuff. It actually had great flavor. It was a matzo ball where you could eat it and say you could eat it by itself.
But then he made the broth bland because then it would overtake it. Like
I don't know.
That's
but,
weird.
But it was definitely a flip side of the usual matzo ball soup, where the matzo ball has no flavor and the broth has all the flavor. This was the opposite. I liked it. A lot of people do like Top Hat Deli. We got Goldberg's Deli, a lot of places up in the Palm Beaches.
Ben's Deli is the one that comes to mind.
Yeah,
I mean, if I did an informal survey, if it's one person, it's a half a dozen. Mention Ben's, and don't sleep on Myron's at the Harris Casino.
Yeah. We should try Myron's.
Three
talking about it.
Pamperdale Deli.
I was going to say
another one.
Pamperdale. I love
Pamperdale
Pamperdale.
around
I really
the
like
corner.
Pamperdale.
3G's Deli in Delray Beach gets a lot of love. There's a bunch of delis up there. Flakowitz, that's in Boca. and
Flakowitz
Point.
is a great place.
Flakewitz.
They have.
I didn't hear 2J's on your list. Are
well,
they
that's
too
a chain.
pedestrian?
Does
I mean,
anyone like 2J's?
Do you look at them like they're Acme oysters?
I think they're like
'cause,
Olive
I
Garden.
think it's been proven that they actually have some.
Are they
merit
like
there.
the Olive Garden of delis? Like,
Among our brethren, among the members
I'm not
of
trying
the
to be a jerk.
tribe.
Like
You
people
would go
like
to 2J's? Yeah, people
Like
like it.
I don't want to say the word Gentile because that's sort of a slur. People who aren't Jewish like 2J's.
The Goyim?
There are older Jews that will go because again you have the old Delhi New York vibe. But like anyone in my family, whenever we mention 2J's, we always sort of have like a face. So it makes me feel like again Italians when you bring up Olive Garden to an Italian, they always have a face. Like to me, 2J's sort of feels like that. It's not that they're bad. Like La Carreta when it comes to Cuban food, they do the job. It's fine, but it's not like legit. Like great Cuban,
Because
that's what
anything,
2J's feels like. to me.
anything that's a chain and then it gets taken over by some of these, private equity firms, it's like it
Yeah,
doesn't get a lot of love anymore. I
Yeah.
think when they first started, they were a little bit
better, yeah, more.
more people like them, and I think might have been better quality. But I'm rushing to judgment. I have not had matzo ball soups
I never had
at a
it there.
2J's
No.
in a million years. I have had it, but it's been probably since before COVID. So I'm getting around and checking out some of the contenders. Why don't you chime in? I put up a post earlier on Let's Eat South Florida, reminding people to get their nominees in last day today. And in that post is also the link to the Sun Sentinel story. And you have to fill out the official nomination form that's in the story. You give your name, your email, your city, what your favorite matzo ball soup is, and why. And then they will tally it up and will name the 5 finalists. And then they'll be voting and then judging in the next couple of weeks, and it's going to be a thriller. We're very happy to take part in it with my old colleagues and our associates at the Sun Sentinel. Always a good time. All right, let's take our second break. But before we do, it is time to talk about a big event that's coming up tonight with one Dan number 13 Marino.
Nice.
And at one of my favorite places in town. How it got overlooked in the Michelin Guide, I don't know. It's just more proof that the Michelin Guide, for all its, people love it. Oh, and by the way, Reno blew off Paul Casanova yesterday. Inadvertently. Reno Sorbonne, whose heritage Fort Lauderdale was awarded a Bib Gourmand, which is a big deal stuff. It means it's great food at good value.
Yep.
Heritage is both. They were the only Broward restaurant to get a Bib Gourmand. Reno Sorbonne, the proprietor and chef, extraordinaire, was lined up to be on Paul Castronovo's show yesterday to talk about it. What Paul and his producer did not realize, it was Reno's birthday on Monday, and a bunch of his friends threw him a surprise party, and with the surprise party came lots of intoxicants. So when the appointed time of 7:25 a.m. came around yesterday, Reno was nowhere to be found. I'm sure no disrespect was meant. I was on with Paul this morning. I apologize on his behalf.
I love that.
And but Reno, if you're out there, we love you. We're going to come in for a show soon. But another guy with Italian restaurants that we love is Angelo Elia.
Yep.
And this is like top of the line, fine dining, exquisite all around. And tonight they're having a wine dinner with Dan Marino, Damon Ewart, two Miami Dolphins ex-quarterbacks who got together and founded a winery called Passing Time Vineyards in Washington State. Some really top flight wines, and they will be presented tonight at the Fort Lauderdale flagship right on Federal Highway in the Big Bend, Casa D'Angelo tonight. I don't know if there's any availability left, but if there isn't, just go into Casa D'Angelo, one of the 3 locations, Boca Raton, Aventura also, and you can get Passing Time wine on their wine list, and you could just pair it with some of their great dishes that they have at Casa D'Angelo. But if you're interested in attending tonight, I would give them a call or go online to casa-d-angelo.com to check on availability. It's going to be a fun time. Danny Boy is going to be there, a bunch of his old teammates and other Dolphins associates, including our friend Kim Bokamper, who joined us here our last show.
Our last time here was with Bo.
Kim Bokamper will be at Casa D'Angelo with Dan Marino and company tonight for the big Passing Time wine dinner. But we love Casa D'Angelo anytime. They are open 7 days, and they are just exquisite food. How it is not Michelin. You know what? Screw the Michelin guy. It is Mike Mayo's Lunchbox.
100%.
How good is Jason Worth? Got back to me immediately. Says he's in.
Nice. There you go.
Oh, that's going to be big.
Guy. I love Dornick too. I played the golf course. I have a very a story that I cannot retell on the air about the Royal Dornick golf course. And I love that horse Dornick. Somehow I didn't have him in last year's Belmont, but. Anyway, let's take our second break, and we'll be back with more from Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale after this.
Hey, Lunchbox fans, is it time to sell your business? You've poured your heart and soul into your restaurant or business, and you want to see continue the legacy you have built. Transworld can help. Call me, Andy Cagnetta, at Transworld Business Advisors right now and see if it's time for you to retire and relax. Iconic brands like the Mai Kai, Mulligan's, Carlos and Pepe's, Mangoes, and many more turn to Transworld to help sell. Contact Transworld on Facebook or call 954-772-1122 or visit tworld.com. Again, that's 954-772-1122 or tworld.com.
When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks, just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally. And they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks. They're open every day but Tuesday. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Guess who's back and better than ever? Juan's. For the best in classic old school Chinese cuisine, a family-run South Florida favorite since 1966. It's at 664 North Federal Highway in Fort Lauderdale, open every day but Tuesday for lunch and dinner. Chef Alex is carrying on the family tradition that started 4 generations ago. It used to be known as Christina Juan's Mandarin House, and you're going to love it as Juan's. They've got all your favorites: wonton soup, spare ribs, egg rolls, dumplings, Peking duck, and more. Combo lunch specials daily and takeout and delivery. For more information, go to their Instagram page at juans.fl. If you're looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more, go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 and the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value for tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Fresh local fish, a sophisticated setting. I'm talking about Corvina Seafood Grill. It's at 110 Plaza Real South in Boca Raton, just south of Palmetto Park Road. It's the place to go for the freshest and local seafood and fish, some of it with a Peruvian twist like their great ceviches. It's open 7 days for dinner. They also have happy hours 7 days a week. You don't want to miss it. It's a great place. CorvinaBocaRaton.com for more information and reservations. All right, we're back at Wicked Cheesesteaks on the Lunchbox. We've got race number 4 coming up. No, race number 3 coming up at Keeneland. I can't play enough doubles today because they're having one of these bonuses on the betting app that I use that for every daily double, if you hit one, they'll give you a 25% bonus. And I'm already in the bank, so I've already hit one double. So I know everybody's thrilled with my gambling exploits. I'm playing poker tonight, too, so that always puts pep in my step. Hard Rock is having a good multi-day, $100,000 event, only $150 buy-in, multi-day, day 2 on Sunday, but it starts tonight, so I'll be gambling my face off. And life is good. Life is very, very good. I wanted to talk about what may be my favorite post of the year on the Let's Eat South Florida group, and we're approaching 200,000. We're almost at 196, and there's been chatter about what are we going to do? Should we have a party, some sort of event? I'm open to any and all ideas on the chat line. And, of course, I would say Tropical Acres. We should rent a room there. I don't know if we can fit in 200,000, but maybe we can get 100 or 200 and make it a ticketed event. But we'll be kicking that around. It's going to be coming up probably toward the end of May is when we'll hit the big number. Sometime in the next 4 to 6 weeks, we will hit 200,000 on the Let's Eat group. But the other day, and I always don't know if somebody like just makes a mistake, doesn't complete their thought, or maybe has a stroke in the middle of their thought. But somebody the other day just posted a post, and I approve it because I just love these random things that make no sense. That's just the word menu.
Like I didn't get that.
Just says menu. This is what landed in the bin. And if you're an admin and you just see a kind of totally random, incoherent, incomplete post, would you approve it?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, let's just see what happens.
Isn't that in line with most of them? Or?
Yes. Well, some of them, I throw my, things against the wall. I was like, I can't believe you're complaining about that. But this was a woman named Elizabeth who just put, it's got 13,000 views.
Really?
And 74 comments. And, some of my favorite things is somebody just did the dictionary definition of menu.
No, explain what a menu
is.
A
List of dishes available in a restaurant. Quote, the waiter handed her a menu.
Like it's supposed to be like your favorite. Like, are you supposed to take it seriously and say your favorite menu? Like what restaurant has a menu?
No, I don't know what she was going for. I don't know if she was looking for a place that had one of these tasting menus. I don't know if she wants a place that actually could print the menu if she's opening a restaurant. My comment was market price, no substitutions.
Exactly.
And somebody posted a picture of Rafe Fiennes, the actor who not just only starred in Conclave, which is about the Pope, but also starred in a movie called The Menu, which was a brutal satire on the whole foodie culture and chefs. And they posted a what do they call it? A meme, a GIF, of him. And then people are just having fun with it. But this is all part of the fun and games of Let's Eat South Florida.
It's something
makes my life so interesting. And to think, at one point, I was a Pulitzer Prize winning journalist. This is how I spend my days now. Betting on doubles at Keeneland Racecourse. What a wonderful world it is. One more food event that I've got to mention, which is an oddball thing because it's taken place in town here for a long time. And when I was the food writer and critic at the Sun Sentinel, I've never been contacted by anybody with this event. I have no idea who runs it. They've never reached out to me. And I got to say, I feel a little bit slighted because it's called the Las Olas Food and Wine Festival.
Okay.
It's taking place tomorrow night. It's an annual event, and it benefits the American Lung Association, which is a great cause.
Yeah, it's a good cause.
And it's the restaurants along that kind of row there on Las Olas Boulevard.
Oh, so it's just for the Las Olas?
Well, no, actually, other restaurants from around the area can sign up. So not only are our friends Brad and Dave from Even Keel Las Olas taking part in it, and a lot of the restaurants on Las Olas, There are some other ones from outside that are taking part, but nobody has ever reached out to me to look for some publicity.
How long have they done
to-
this?
I think it's at least 13 or 15 years or so. Have you ever heard of it or been there?
I want to say yes, but I don't recall being there. I used to go to a lot of these food and wine festivals, and you knew my opinion of them. With no offense to our good friends Phil and Kate, because I was impressed with the way they handled everything. It was just radical departure from what I was accustomed to.
Right.
Where you always felt like, geez, I'm spending an awful lot of time to get like a thimble full of wine
Yep.
and one morsel of food. So yeah, I want to say I've been there, but I can't remember how long ago it was.
Yeah, no.
So this may hurt your feelings more.
Yep.
Las Olas Wine and Food Festival is having their 29th annual.
Yeah.
29. I couldn't
They
tell
don't like you at all.
I don't know who their publicist is. Maybe I wrote some bad reviews about
You
somebody's
had to have.
restaurant.
We've been around a long time to
They,
not even
like-
get you the junk email that they send out to anyone that's on their email list.
I am persona non grata. It's taking place tomorrow. I'm sorry, tomorrow. It's on Friday
Yeah.
night, the 25th, I think from 7 to 10. I would tell you how to get tickets, but I have no idea what their website is or any of the particulars because nobody's ever reached out to me.
Yeah,
So
as they say butthurt.
if anybody, I mean, I don't want to say I'm
I've never
butthurt,
seen you this butthurt before.
but don't they know who I am? No,
Exactly.
it's odd because I have a lot of relationships with a lot of publicists around town, and I've heard from other people, and I know, I think I know a lot of the different players. It's just odd to me that
I agree. You're
that-
usually involved in most of them. Like you go to ones that are just small offshoots. So Las Olas, you would think if it's been around 29 years, that's a pretty solid food and wine festival.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what I did to
You
anybody
did
at some
something.
point, but
I mean-
probably something to somebody. So, all right.
It's not a shock.
You want to take our third and final
Let's do
break,
it.
and then we could wrap up this puppy, and then I'll root on some more horses, and then I'll go play poker. And very excited. My daughter is driving back from her
Nice.
freshman year of college because things got a little jumbled up there in Tallahassee over the last week.
Mm.
Again, thoughts and concern goes out to everybody that was impacted. And even though my daughter wasn't on the grounds of the campus that morning, it's still having a lot of effect on a lot of people.
Look,
And,
they're kids, and as a Knoll myself, we're very good at recovering, and they will recover, but it's less than a week late. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
and to go past the spot where kids were running for their lives, really, literally less than a week ago,
yeah, it's a lot.
when the university announced it was going to be business as usual on Monday, there was a little bit of a revolt amongst the students and faculty.
Faculty
So
too.
they backed off and said, you know what? We're going to give the option to students if you don't want to attend in person. The professors will enable ways to do virtual online courses. It's the last week of the spring semester.
Yep.
Finals are next week. Finals now, a lot of them have now moved to
They're
also
online, yeah.
online, so you don't have to be physically present on the campus.
Yep.
And because of that, a lot of kids are leaving town early, going back to the kind of comfort and safety of home.
Well, because most leases, a lot of the time, you can get a lease that's like 8 months as opposed to like a year lease because it is a college town.
Oh yeah, no, for the
Or you
again,
can sublease. Because I a lot of the time would sublease my.
my
'cause I would always come down south for the summers, and then I would just sublease it to people.
Yeah,
for
my
the
daughter was in the
summer.
dorm. She's going and moving into a apartment, off-campus apartment in August. So it's no big deal for her to just cut out a little bit early. She checked out this morning and is driving home now. It's going to
Nice.
be good to see her. And we're going to go to Tropical Acres tomorrow night
Nice.
and get ourselves a twin lobster and a prime rib. We're going to do a little dad-daughter surf and turf. So that's
Nice.
going to be fun. One more thing, Delaware is our presenting sponsor today, Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. We love them. Jose and Jean, they run a great operation there.
Yep.
And now that the spring holidays are over, there's still plenty of great reasons to go into Delaware Chicken and Seafood Market, 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood. Can't miss it. Big chicken on the roof, which Sarmi loves, by
So
the
is
way.
it 7 days and counting?
7 days.
Or is it
Okay,
8
so
days? How does it work?
the reason to go in there now is we're in the final days of the 24-25 stone crab season. And the final traps get pulled up on May 1st. So
So it's
I
8
can't
days.
even do the math. Where are we
Today's
at?
the 23rd. So 7
23rd.
days to the 30th, so it'll be 8 days.
And then 8 days of traps and pulling. And then they pull up those stone crabs on the 1st. And they'll still be good in the case, fresh, not frozen, for a couple days after that.
Yeah.
So you probably got about like 2 weeks of stone crabs left that you could purchase there. Not going to make it all the way to Mother's Day, unfortunately,
Mm.
unless they are,
They freeze
some
some.
people
Yeah.
freeze them. But if you want the best and freshest quality stone crabs, Delaware Chicken Farm Seafood Market is the place, along with all the other great seafood and fish and
Sausage,
sausages
proteins,
that
yeah.
Tony Segreto loves so
Yep.
much, along with steaks and pork products. They've got it all there at Delaware. Again, go in there. They're open 7 days a week. Go online to DelawareChicken.com to sign up for their weekly newsletter, which contains all their specials and other offerings. We are proud sponsors of Delaware Chicken and Seafood. I go in there for all the major holidays to get my food. Had some great stuff that I got from
Well,
there.
something,
for
and a
Passover
lot of
and
people
Easter.
that follow us may be into fishing. There's a lot of like, don't they do provisions?
Yep,
for
yachts
boats
and
as well,
boats,
right?
Yeah, if you have a boat or you're going out somewhere,
Which can be
for
a pain
few
in the butt. Like
days.
I've gone fishing and it can be sort of annoying to try and get supplies. So that's cool that they like know how to deal with, and with them,
Yeah.
that they would have a system and like everything.
They
do.
know what they're doing. If you're going, if you have a boat that you can do overnight weekend trips to the Bahamas, you can stock up
I
with
mean, this
all
is that
your
time of the
food
year.
stuff. So Delaware Chicken, tell them the Lunchbox sent you. All right, let's take third final break, and we'll let them wrap up this show from Wicked Cheesesteaks after this. When people ask me about the best restaurants in South Florida, Casa D'Angelo is always at the top of my list. First-class dining, top-flight service, elegant atmosphere, and chef-founder Angelo Ilia is legendary. The flagship in Fort Lauderdale has been serving the finest Italian cuisine since 1997, with other locations in Boca Raton and Aventura. As Angelo himself says, they have an unwavering commitment to unparalleled quality with meticulous attention to details. It's so good, with house-made pastas, pristine seafood, unique meats like elk chops and bison, and seasonal specialties including fragrant fresh truffles from Italy. All locations open 7 days for dinner. Reservations recommended. For a special occasion or any occasion, Casa D'Angelo. Tell them Mike Mayo sent you. Hey, it's Mayo for Gilbert's 17th Street Grill. You know me, I love family-run places with quality food at fair prices served with passion and pride. And that's why I love Gilbert's. For more than a decade, Lenore, Beth, and Richie Gilbert have been serving up the best burgers, wings, ribs, salads, and desserts. It's a fast casual spot. Everything prepared fresh to order from an immaculate open kitchen. They're at 1821 Cordova Road in Fort Lauderdale in the Cordova Shops just south of 17th Street. Open every day but Sunday. One of my favorite burgers in South Florida. Big, round, juicy pucks of 100% Angus beef, char grilled to perfection. And don't miss the sweet potato fries on the side. They're legendary. Go to Gilbert's, feast, and be happy. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Delicious Mexican food with innovative twists. Margaritas with a medley of tongue-tingling flavors. I'm talking about Taco Craft, Taqueria, and Tequila Bar. The place to go on Taco Tuesday and every day. It's located at 510 North Federal and Highway in Fort Lauderdale, and also in Lauderdale by the Sea at Plantation Walk and Coral Springs. Taco Craft has specials every day, including bottomless drinks for a Sunday brunch, and Taco Tuesdays, including their new birria tacos with bone marrow broth. Oh, it's so good. They've even made a taco lover out of me, and they've got so much more, including fajitas, that open-faced smashed cheeseburger tortilla that's new, and a guacamole sample that's an explosion of flavors. The kitchen is open late. There's delivery and takeout. For more information, go to tacocraft.com. When people come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, oh, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Feel like getting away without leaving town? Then you got to check out the House on the River in Fort Lauderdale. It's a beautiful restored historic home with indoor and outdoor dining right on the new river. You'll think you're in Charleston or Savannah. It has a gorgeous patio, porches, and private dining areas, and it offers unique experiences perfect for a date night or fun times with friends and family. It has weekend brunches, happy hour, dinner Wednesday through Sunday. There's also a high tea on Friday and Saturdays, and the popular House of Veuve Champagne experience on weekends. The House on the River is in Fort Lauderdale's Himmershey district, just south of the Science Museum. For reservations and information. All right, we're back at Wicked Cheesesteaks. More good news on the betting front for me. I wheeled the 8 horse in the 3rd race with all the horses in the 4th race at Keeneland in the double, and I hit another one. The 8 horse came in. Brendan Walsh, Luis Saez, $10 winner to start a wheel. I am rooting for the longest shot in the field in the 4th race.
There you go.
Isn't it fun when you have all in the last leg of any kind of exotic, and all you're going to do is count the money? It's just a matter of how much.
Always a good feeling.
Always a good feeling. And also a good feeling is having a nice lunch here at Wicked Cheesesteaks. Got to thank Brian and Sonata. I took it easy today, Lubie.
You did. I'm proud of you. Good job.
Half of a chicken Philly, 1 wing, and I'm calling it quits. I am very satisfied. I'm going to bring the other half home for consumption before the poker tournament. And I consider that a very nutritious day's eating at Wicked Cheesesteak. You can come here. You could have the classic cheesesteak. You could have the Philly chicken cheesesteak. You could have wings. You could have pizza. You could have all kinds of salads and cold cuts. Brian does it all. Sonata, his wife, does the baking.
Fantastic.
Unbelievably good stuff. The moon pies and
There used to be a chocolate
cookies.
peanut butter
Yeah,
cake thing that was ridiculous.
Fantastic. Come on out. Support your locals.
Exactly.
Brian and Sonata, they do a good job here. And, we're heading into the summer months after the season. So it's time for the locals to,
support the locals.
to support locals. That's what we do here on the Lunchbox. All right. Tomorrow we're going to be at Fat Boys
Yeah,
Barbecue,
love it.
their newest location, downtown Fort Lauderdale. It is a very tough commute for me.
Yeah.
All of
You
50
could literally walk there.
yards from, on my own 2 feet. But downtown Fort Lauderdale, 706 South Federal Highway. Near the courthouse and the Board of Education headquarters, school board headquarters. Jarrell, great guy, doing great work there. It's been crowded there. So
Yeah, I love it.
looking forward to get back in there, have a little bit of his great ribs, and all the collard greens are fantastic. Vegetarian collard greens,
Yeah,
too.
they are. Which is
So
good.
all good stuff. All right, until then, we'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy every half sandwich.